Hello, everybody. How are you? My name is Penda James, and I am so excited that you are here with me today watching the Resilience Project. This is an opportunity for me to have sacred conversations with people that I really care about. And my goal is to create a list of 100 declarations for people in leadership. If you don't know me and you are here just to see Zontaye, because she's amazing, I am a writing coach. And what I do is I assist leaders in transition to get unstuck, execute their goals, and inscribe their legacy. So I'm inscribing my own legacy with the Resilience Project.
Yeah.
I am talking to one of my favorite mentees, people in the world. I met Zontaye when she was probably 12 or 13. I don't know, but she's been in my life for a long time. I've seen her grow and blossom into this amazing and powerful woman of God who is an entrepreneur that is changing lives in the world in Dayton, Ohio. she
Yeah.
has she has such an amazing ministry, which she's going to talk to us about today, which is called Theze Dealz, a Thrifty Boutique. And it's more than just a thrift store, it is her safe space. And so, Zontaye, I do want you to tell the story about when you wanted the skirts from J.C. Penney, but we can talk about that a little bit later. That's what kicked it off for her, is that you can
Yeah.
find amazing things at thrift stores. And what she has done is truly personified her faith in helping to make this business made manifest in Dayton, Ohio. So, Zontaye, is there something that I did not say about you that you want people to know about you?
Nope. I think that pretty much sums it up. That is me.
Yay. Okay. So, would you like to say what our declaration is?
Yes. A
Okay.
dec-
What declaration are we discussing today?
I am faith personified.
Ugh.
Oh, yes. Don't
Ugh.
cry. Don't make it. It's too early to cry. It's too early. It's
Ugh.
too early to cry.
When you say I am faith personified, it is a clear distinction you are of what faith looks like.
Yes.
When it's not easy, when it's you can't see the end and you just keep walking because your faith will not let you quit.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
How do you define what it means to be faith personified?
Oh my gosh. That is a loaded question. So to me, everybody talks about faith, but not everybody walks faith.
Hmm.
Um, People talk about they have faith and that they believe and that they want to do certain things in life. They want to pursue certain goals and dreams. But oftentimes they're stuck. So I believe that I'm the representation of faith. I embody faith. Everything that I've been through, every obstacle. I feel like Peter walking on water and storm is all around me, and I'm like, I can do this. I'm gonna step out there with nothing, what it feels like, no security. I'll tell you about my story in a minute, but I feel like I embody faith. Just before, I thought I knew what faith was until I stepped out as an entrepreneur. um and this has been nothing but a faith walk. I always say that it's not for the faint of heart. um like I said, I'm 35 now, and growing up, you heard about faith, but I never had to really, everything was secure, had a nice job. I really didn't have to walk by faith when everything is stable and everything, where it's coming from. But when you actually have to walk faith, live faith, that's what faith personified is to me.
So let's take a step back and let's define faith for others based off of how you're using the word today.
Oh, okay. Yes. Faith to me is stepping out on believe in. Or as far as entrepreneur, I'm talking as faith, as far as an entrepreneur, not necessarily Christian or what you believe as far as spiritually, but faith as in you don't really know what to expect, but you believe that you can accomplish it. So that's what faith is to me in this sense.
So you are the personification of stepping out on what you believe in. That's what
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
you're. Yeah, let's go. So how has being an example of faith personified been a thread throughout your life?
Oh wow, it's been a thread throughout my life. I recently found something that I wrote as a kid. I was probably 12 or 13, and I had wanted to get into the scholarship program. And the first year I didn't get into it, and the second year I wrote about how I'm determined. I if I get into this program, I'm going to do my best. I want to help individual disabilities. I want to change the world. At that time, I wanted to be a mechanical engineer and help do prosthetics for individual disabilities. So I wrote that as a 12-year-old child, just speaking in faith, and I'm like, wow, I read back over that like, wow, that was powerful for a 12-year-old to even write that and just believe that I could accomplish. I wanted to go to college, and so it's kind of been throughout my whole life. I've been a dreamer, a person that set goals and things that I want to accomplish as a young child. So it's definitely been a thread throughout my whole life.
So can we tell the JCPenney story here?
Yes. So, JCPenney story. I was 12. So this like everything I remember is like when I'm 12. But this is me, 12 years old, going from elementary school to middle school. So maybe I was about 13, 12 going on to 13. And you got to go school shopping, and it's time to go school shopping. Mom would take me school shopping every August. And at this time, my mom was into thrifting, which we still are because we have a thrift store. But I'm going through JCPenney catalog. I'm like, okay, skirts are in. I don't know if anybody remembers skirts, but skirts, the little shorts with the skirt on top of it, love them. So I'm like, Mom, I want this skirt. Going through JCPenney's catalog. I want this particular skirt, navy blue. I'm going to Roth Middle School. I'm excited. My mom said, girl, you must be lost your mind. We are not paying $55 for a skirt, for a skirt. So mom said we're going to the thrift store. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? Mom, there is no way that I'm going into middle school with a thrift store skirt on. No way. Like, no way. So we go to I have a whole attitude, 12-year-old, 13-year-old attitude. Mm-hmm. Like, she's really making me go to the thrift store to get this skirt. And so so we get there. She had me try it on. Zani's my nickname. So if I say Zani, that's my nickname. Zani, try on this skirt. We found one at the thrift store. It's $5. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be so embarrassing. So embarrassing. I'm wearing this thrift store skirt. So we get the skirt. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like dreading the first day of school. I get to school, and a lot of my friends from elementary school, they all went to a different school. So I was like, I feel like I was like by myself, alone, have to make new friends. All my best friends in elementary school went to Stivers. I'm at Roth by myself, what I felt like was by myself. And walking there with this skirt on, and I'm getting compliments. Like, oh, that is cute. Where you get that from? I'm like, I had to have amnesia, right? I'm like, that one store, my mom got it for me.
Right. My mom got it for me.
That one store up the street, making up stuff, knowing good well I got it from a thrift store. Embarrassed to say, oh, I got it from Valley Thrift.
Now that's the place. Yes.
Listen, I got it from Valley Thrift. So came home that day and just told my mom, like, Mom, it wasn't that bad. And she just encouraged me, it's not about what you wear. It's not about what you have on the outside, but what you have on the inside. So that was just a valuable lesson. And here we are. It was actually 20 years later, I opened my store. Yeah. 20 years later, I opened a thrift store and here we are.
So I want to ask you, Zontaye, so we're talking about Theze Dealz. And for people who don't know what your vision is for Theze Dealz, can you just give them a snippet? We don't even want to give them everything because we want them to come over there on Stephen Thaler and see you if they're in Dayton, Ohio. But it's more than just a thrift store. And I want you to talk about your faith journey in getting there and what you want Theze Dealz to be for the community.
Yes, for certain. So anybody that's from Dayton, or if you're from any low income poverty area, this is for you. Grew up in West Dayton, moved to the suburbs, and I loved thrifting at that time. By the time I was grown, I moved back to West Dayton, bought my house, and I'm like, I don't see any thrift stores in my area. I don't see any quality thrift stores in my area. I don't see anywhere that I'm going to go shop. I still have to go south, east of town, go thrifting. And I'm like, I'm a person that I've always been that if I see something wrong, don't put it on they. I think oftentimes people say, why don't they do this? Why don't they do that? Why don't they build this? Why don't they open a store here? Why don't they? And I said, I am they. I am the they. I am who I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for, oftentimes in low income poverty areas, we're waiting for other people to open up in our community, but why don't we? So that was my thought. 2013, I started to write the plan. So it's almost been 10 years since I wrote the plan, since I started to just really write things down. I was going through a divorce at the time and just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I have been working for the county MRDD program. Absolutely loved it. However, I'm like, I don't see me doing this for the rest of my life, working for someone else. And so I started to just write things down and go to different classes and learn about business plan, go to different thrift stores, go to consignment shops. When I go out of town, what did I see? What did I want? One day I spent a whole day, 2 days in Columbus, went to about 10 different places and just wrote down, took pictures. What did I want? What did I like? What did I dislike? What did I want my store to be? So that was back 2014, 2015.
Okay.
And so really wanted to see that. But the aspect that I didn't see was community. And oftentimes in low income areas, at least in West Dayton, there is a loss of community as far as a place to go. We have community festivals and events and things like that, but there's really nowhere, somewhere that's always open that's community. Besides, your community center, which is where I met you at, Wesley Center, in Dayton, Ohio. But I wanted something different. Like, everybody is not, just because we're in a low income area doesn't mean every community aspect has to be about poverty or, poverty, or let me give food giveaways, or let me do that, but sense of belonging, sense of someone knowing your name. I always say that my store is a third space. There's that term, a third space. I hear one of my friends say it all the time, where it's a gathering place for people to come, gather information, to be loved, to be known. So here we are. We're going into 4 years now. We opened in 2017. and it's everything that I dreamed of and more.
And
Um,
more.
so when you say community, it's just that, like, there's people that's been coming to my store for 4 years. I'm getting invited to baby showers and weddings. Now my customers have my personal phone number. You want to go hang out? Like, it's literally community and family. And before I opened my store, I didn't, there was no places that I felt like that I felt a part of, that I took ownership. A lot of people are like, oh, let me go to my store. These Dealz is their store. They take ownership of it. I'll tell a really quick story. They take ownership enough that when our store got broken into, we're a year in, not even, I don't think we had made it a year yet. And someone broke into the store, broke our glass, and the community just rallied around and paid for the window to be fixed. And it was just amazing to see. Like, it was overwhelming. It was overwhelming, the fact that someone would try to break in, but it was even more overwhelming that the community pulled through to get it fixed. So I think that was very, very just showed that we're living out the mission that I initially set, that we were community. So
It's like because I live far away, I saw your Facebook Live. So I felt violated, like somebody broke into my house.
mm-hmm.
How could they do that when if they needed clothes, you would have just gave it to them?
Oh, yeah,
They had
sure.
no idea that you are who you are and that you created it for the community. And so to see how the community, they gave money and they sent somebody to fix it, and it's just so and then when you had to move your location, the community came and they helped you move, literally.
And I think it just showed, like, we started off talking about clothing, but it's not about clothing. This is about faith. Like, this, I think people saw the faith that I had, so I quit my job and just living through all kind of adversities, and thriving. Like, we were closed for 4 months, 2019, and then you got a pandemic, closed for a few months, and it's like we're still trucking, we're still moving because of that faith. Like, I know the guy gave me this vision, this that M word is hard to say, mission. And I feel like, Lord, this is not a mission. It's supposed to be about clothing. But it's been it's been so much more than that. We have people come in and really tell their stories.
Mm-hmm. Have you done this in a while where you do like walk in my shoes or something? Do you still do that?
We're doing it again this year. Last year we didn't do it. We've done it twice. And then this year we're going to do it again. Last year just because of COVID, but yes, walk in my shoes.
I just feel like watching, for you to step out on faith and quitting your job. And then when you do things like this, for those of y'all that don't know, Walk in My Shoes was when people would donate a pair of shoes and they will write a story about, what happened in these shoes. And so the next person who purchases them or who receives them, they can understand the power that stood in those shoes before they got them. Mm-hmm. And that's just so amazing to me. It's another personification of faith that not only do you exemplify, but that you empower other people to do as well.
For sure.
Whew. What do you want people to know, Zontaye, about being faith personified? Like, I want you to look at a leader who is stuck or who is afraid to really step out and do what they need to do. They have the faith, but they just really aren't sure. What would you say to them?
Oh, wow. I'm actually going to talk like I'm talking to myself, because I have a big project that I'm supposed to do, that I've been saying I want to do. And if this is speaking to me, through me, to you, but It's for me too. But if they give you something and it's been pressing in your heart, you have to get it out. If you don't step out on faith, like oftentimes we see other people doing things and we're like, man, I want to do that. But all they're doing is walking in their purpose and stepping out on faith, whatever God gave them. And if you don't do it, someone else is going to do it. Like you, and there's people that you can touch that nobody else can touch. And oftentimes I tell myself like, oh, nobody wants to hear my story. Nobody cares. Nobody, but there's people that are attached to me that happen to be through this store that need to see a living, breathing example of faith. And so here I am being faithful.
I mean, I'm just saying from a young age, you've had faith. Before 12, miming and singing and dancing in church and just the seed of faith that was always in you, it could do nothing but grow.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I watch you, and even I'm learning how to change my language when I talk about my dreams and when I talk about my faith, because I have watched you and I've seen how you used to put your hand up on the building like, this gonna be my building, and I'm gonna walk around
right.
sometimes and pray every time before I go to work, Lord Jesus, this gonna be my building, That is great faith. I like, yeah. So yeah, I just wanted to give you some roses while you alive. Like, to see an empty building and walk up to it every morning before you go to work. And thank you for Theze Dealz. To have your logo done before the building was even thought of.
I had my business plan. I'm gonna tell you how much I had done. I didn't open my store in 2017. In 2015, I had the floor layout. I had where the racks are going to be at, where the dressing room is going to be at, what color is going to be on the wall, what doorknob is going to be on the thing, what hook is going to be there. I had everything in a Walmart cart. So I'm like, okay, I want this. I want to look like this. This is where the kids section is going to be. This is where the men's section. My counter is going to be here. And the building, I walked into that building with my dear friend Sarah, February 2015. And I walked in this empty space. I'm like, this is going to be my store. This is it. This is Theze Dealz. This is it. I'm like, I don't have no money. I don't know where this is coming from. I don't know how this is going to happen. And just real quick. So then in December 2016, I said, you know what? I'm going to do it. God, I've been collecting clothes since 2014.
Driving around with them in your car, storing them in your garage.
Storing them in my garage. Like, okay. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. I reached out to the realtor at the time, thinking it's going to be the same realtor. Oh, sorry, man. We just sold it last week. I'm like, are you serious? So I'm emotional wreck. I'm like, Mom, I got to find another building. Like, what am I going to do? I don't know. Like, that is my building. I know it is. I know that's my store. That's my building. So I went looking at other places and I told my brother, I said, you know what? Probably find out like that Friday, that Sunday. I said, you know what? I don't know who has that building, but they are preparing it for me. I don't know what they're doing, but they are fixing it for me. So I got a call that next week. Hi, Miss Richardson. We heard that you were interested in leasing the building. I said, it's for me. He said, you need to look inside of it. I said, no, I already know what it looks like. I've been in there a year and a half ago. I know it's my building. It's already for me. And so April, I put my resignation in 2017. We opened up May 22nd, May 21st, 22nd, May 22nd, 2017. And almost 4 years later, we're still standing.
And the other part of it is that you've created jobs for young people. You've created jobs for your population that you love, which is people with special needs. Like, you keep it going. You keep it going. So all of your passions are really aligned. You're in your zone of genius.
Oh my.
There's a book that I want you to read. It's called The Big Leap.
Okay.
And so he talks about how when you're in your zone of genius, that is the place where you are most aligned with God. Oh, it's good stuff. And so this big project that you're talking about, it's a big leap. So you're in your zone of genius. And so I just want you to be in it and trust God. That's that faith, ma'am.
Amen. Amen.
So tell everybody how they can connect with you and where they can find these deals online, where they can buy some of these specialty items that you have. Tell them.
Yeah. Oh, there's several ways. So I'm working on a website and an app and all that good stuff soon. But until then, I have a group, a thrifting group. It's called Thrifters United. Thrifters United in parentheses, Theze Dealz. And also Theze Dealz is spelled Theze for Zontaye, Dealz, a Thrifty Boutique. So I try to put my little background in there, but my logo didn't fit a line. So, but you can see Theze Dealz, Theze Dealz, on Facebook as well as Instagram. But mainly I do a lot of my things in my thrifting group, which is Thrifters United.
Okay. Thank you, Zontaye, for your time and your today. And for those of you who are watching, I really hope that you had your journal and that you took some of these nuggets down that Zontaye is sharing, because she's always very authentic in telling her story. Like that day when her shop was broken into, she was like, y'all, this is hard. And so I just really hope for those of you who are leaders out there, just remember this declaration. Say it again one more time, Zontaye.
I am faith personified.
You are faith personified. Thank you for watching. We love you so much.